Students, 11th class accountancy class, and yesterday we did one numerical of accounting equation. We are doing with the chapter 5 accounting equation, and yesterday we did with the chapter just the numerical, and before this I have taken 3-4 introductory classes for this chapter, so we were preparing ourselves for doing numericals. And in previous class I had told you about the format of the numerical questions. Okay, so the format is very much important in 11th class or in accountancy, because in accountancy it's all about formats for each and everything. We have we need to make a format. So accounting equation format, yesterday we did this question, and in accounting equation format, am I audible, students? Yes, students, am I audible? Because someone is saying that I am not audible, so please tell me, am I audible? Okay, so yes, Aryan, please check your network. I think there is some problem on your network part, because other people are able to listen me, able to hear me. Okay, so yesterday we did this numerical, and in this numerical I told you a complete format. And what is that format? That in serial number, in first line you have to write the serial number, then transactions, whatever is given in the question. Yes, then okay, then with the transaction, whatever the transaction we need to do. So first of all we have to read the question. I am repeating all the steps. First of all we have to read the question, then we have to decide which assets will be there and which liabilities will be there, and we have to just write at the top of the format. Then we have to start doing question, and with every transaction at least 2 accounts will be affecting. More than 2 may be affecting, like yesterday we did some of the transactions in which more than 2 accounts were affecting. So today I'm going with another numerical or another question, and today also we will learn how to make the balance sheet after doing the questions. Okay, so this is the question: prepare accounting equation of Amit on the basis of the following transactions. Accounting equation of Amit on the basis of the following transactions. Okay, so I told you earlier also that whenever we are starting business, then business is started always with the help of cash and capital, but sometimes some assets may be brought in, but we will be doing definitely that part in the next question. So the first transaction is commenced business with cash. Commenced business with cash. So yes, you can start writing or giving your answer. It will be you will be able to use your mind, because as much answers, as many answers you will be giving, you will be more frequent with the question, more able to understand the question. Okay, students, so you can just start writing. So cash and capital, I'm not solving the question. First we will try all the 9 transaction, and we will find to try out the which accounts are involved there. Okay, in second transaction, tell me which accounts are involved. Bought goods for cash 20,000 and on credit 25,000. Which accounts will be there in this transaction? 3 accounts will be there. We have purchased goods, cash and creditor. So tell me the name of 3 accounts, everyone. Tell me the name of 3 accounts first. Yes, whenever we are purchasing goods, goods means stock. Whether we are purchasing or selling, wherever goods are there, then stock. Secondly, we have purchased the goods in cash, so definitely cash. And the other part we have purchased on credit. So whenever we are purchasing goods on credit, then creditors are there, and whenever we are selling goods on credit, then debtors are there. So 3 accounts here are cash, stock and creditors. Now tell me what accounts will be affected in third transaction. Fast, paid wages 3,000. and rent 1000. Wages and rent are expenses. And I told you many times that whenever there are expenses, then cash and capital. Very good. Two accounts, cash and capital. Then sold goods costing 12,000 for 16,000 for cash. Cost of the goods is 12,000 and we have sold them for 16,000 in cash. So how many accounts are there? Two or three? Yes, students, how many accounts are there? Two or three? Yes, three. Very good. Which three now tell me? Again, the goods are involved. So the one account is stock. Then cash is there. So the other account is cash. Then third account is the profit. Profit is added to capital. So third is profit. So three accounts involved here are cash, capital, and stock. Very good. Then we have whatever the goods we have returned it to back to creditors. So which two accounts will be there in this transaction? Transaction number 6. Goods bought was returned to the creditor. Yes, creditor and stock. Very good. Creditors will be reduced and stock will be also reduced. Then furniture. Wherever goods word is mentioned, goods means stock. And wherever any name of the particular thing is mentioned, then that will be asset. So here we have purchased furniture for cash and credit. So again, three accounts will be there. Which three accounts, students? Please start writing. Keep writing. Keep on writing. Yes, furniture is an asset. Cash is also the asset. And creditors. Again, the creditor. Then this transaction is new for you. Transaction number 8. I will tell you it in the question when we will be solving it. Not now. Then come to transaction number 9. Cash deposited into bank 50,000. You were having cash in excess, so you have deposited the excess cash into bank. Which two accounts will be affecting with this transaction? Yes, cash and bank balance. So we have read all the transactions. On the basis of all these transactions, which asset we will be having? Only 4 assets: cash, stock, furniture, and bank. So we have to write the name of all the 4 assets, like here it is shown in the format. First of all, in the first column, we have to write serial number because no dates of the transaction are given. Then in second column, we have to write the particulars or transaction. Whatever you feel like comfortable, you can write particulars or transactions. Okay. And in third column, you are going to write assets equal to accounting equation. That is, the assets are equal to capital plus liability. Now you have to specify the assets. It means in this question, which assets you people will be having. Which assets? Cash, stock, furniture, and bank. 4 assets you are having on the basis of the above analysis. Then liabilities, 2 liabilities, capital plus creditors. Okay. Now I am starting with the first transaction. So in serial number, you have to write number 1. And in transaction, you can just write the transaction given in the question. In the same words too, you can write. Okay. Same words. So commenced business with cash, rupees 80,000. So whenever business will be commenced, which two accounts will be affecting? Cash and capital. Both will be increased. So we have to write 80,000 in cash and 80,000 in capital. In rest of all the asset and liabilities, we need to write 0 because till now they have not come into existence. So we need to write 0. Okay. Second transaction, we have purchased goods for cash 20,000 and on credit 25,000. So we have already analyzed that with this transaction, 3 accounts will be there. So total of the goods which we have purchased, what is the total of the goods? 20,000 for cash and 25,000 for credit. So total purchases here are, yes, total purchases here are 45,000. So that 45,000 will be added in stock because our stock is increased by 45,000. So 45,000 will be added in stock. But how much will be deducted from cash? What the cash payment we have made? Tell me, students, what the cash payment we have made? Yes, Harshita. In stock, you have to write total because the total goods are incoming in your business. Does not matter whether you have purchased those goods in cash or in credit. The total amount of the goods you have to write in, add in stock whenever you are making purchases, and the total amount of the goods whenever you are selling, you have to deduct from stock, because by the sales your stock will decrease and by the purchase your stock will increase, whether it is on cash or on credit. Okay, Harshita, am I correct? Yes, Harshita, is that clear? Yes. So we will be deducting 20,000 from cash and 25,000 will become our liability. So we will be adding 25,000 in liability. Okay, students, 25,000 in liability. Then capital, no effect. So now we have done two transactions, and I told you earlier that after every transaction, you have to make a new equation. So again, the new equation we have to make 80,000 minus 20,000, which is equal to 60,000. It means after this transaction, we are having cash balance of rupees 60,000. We are having cash balance of rupees 60,000. Okay. Then second is 45,000 is the goods. Then in liability we have added 25,000. So we are having liability 25. Capital, no change. So just try to satisfy both the sides of equation whether they are equal or not. You have to check after doing every new equation. You have to check whether both the sides are equal or not. Yes, both the sides are very much equal. 1,05,000. So now we can move to the third transaction. Third transaction is paid wages 3,000 and rent 1,000. So how much of the total cash we are making payment? Tell me how much of the total cash we are making payment? Yes, 4,000. We have paid 4,000. So our cash is decreased by 4,000. And as these both are expenses, and what rule I have told you about expenses? Decrease from cash and decrease from what? Capital. Yes, very good. So capital will be also decreased by 4,000. Both will be decreased by 4,000. Now again we have to find out new equation. New equation is 60 minus 4, 56. Then 45 stock. Then furniture 0. Bank balance 0. Creditors no effect. And capital 80 minus 4, which is equal to 76,000. Okay. So again we have to find the new equation. Tell me the value of new equation, students. Yes, 1,01,000. Both sides same. Very good. Now I am coming to the fifth, wages outstanding. So this outstanding till now I have not explained you. So first try to understand the concept of prepaid expense and outstanding expense. Simultaneously you can write, because till now I have not introduced these two concepts in front of you. Okay. So expenses further we can divide in two parts. Like expenses can be outstanding or expenses can be prepaid. Outstanding means we were supposed to pay, but till now we have not paid. And they are also known as expenses due but not paid. Expenses due but not paid means we have taken the services and we were supposed to make the payment, but till now we have not made the payment. It means in future we have to pay this amount. So can you tell me outstanding expense nature? It is asset, liability, income, expense. Yes. What is it? Yes, it's a liability. Very good. Himanshu, it's a liability, but it is not a creditor. Make sure it's a liability, but it is not a creditor. Because creditor means the persons from whom we have purchased goods on credit. Here we have taken the services of that labor. He has done some work for us. We are supposed to make him payment, but till now we have not made him any payment. Okay, students. So in this case, in this case of outstanding expenses, we need to add one more column. Here in the solution, this column is not added. So might have in the book they have done wrongly. But whenever outstanding expenses are there, then you have to add one more head just after the creditors. So write creditors plus outstanding expenses. You cannot write outstanding expenses in creditors because creditor and outstanding expenses are two different terms. Creditor means the person from whom we have purchased goods on credit, and outstanding expense means we have taken some services from a person until now we have not made him payment. Okay, so you just write in your notebooks after creditors, just write one more. Just like in assets, we have written cash, stock, furniture, bank. Similarly, in liabilities, you have to now written two liabilities. Creditors plus outstanding expense. Okay, students, creditors plus outstanding expense. So while doing this transaction, is there any cash has gone outside? Wages outstanding. Wages outstanding means you need to pay the wages. You were supposed to pay the wages, but till now you have not made any payment. So will it be affecting cash? Tell me. Will there be any effect on cash in this case? Yes. Yes. I'm waiting for more answers. Yes, everyone is saying no. Yes, cash is not affected at all. So you can see that on cash we have shown zero effect. On stock, zero effect. On furniture, no effect. On bank balance, no effect. So how it will be affecting? So you can write down the rule. Whenever there is expense, whether it is paid or not paid. Paid means cash affecting, and not paid means liability is affecting, but the same effect will be there on capital. If the expense is paid, then it is deducted from capital. If it is not paid but it's your liability, so you are supposed to pay it, then it is also deducted from capital. Okay, so expenses are always, you can make this rule that expenses are always deducted from capital, whether it is paid or not paid. On the other hand side, we will be writing 1000 rupees under outstanding expenses. Okay, not under creditors. In here in this book or in this PDF, it is written under creditors. It is not the part of creditors. So you are going to write it in a separate head, just like cash, stock, furniture. So I told you that along with creditors, you need to make a separate head, that is outstanding expense, and write here 1000. Now find out the new equation. 56,000 cash, stock 45,000, furniture 0, bank balance 0, liabilities 25,000, creditors 25,000, outstanding expenses 1,000, and capital 75,000. Now you can find out the equation both sides. Again, the total of the equation of both sides is same. Next transaction. Yes, goods bought. Yes, fifth transaction. Sold goods costing rupees 12,000 for 16,000 for cash. Yes, sold goods costing rupees 12,000 for 16,000. First tell me, is there any profit or loss in this transaction? Tell me students, here is profit or loss? Tell me this. There is profit or loss? Yes, profit. How much of the profit? Tell me students, how much of the profit? Yes, 4,000. So what is the treatment for profit? You all know. What is the treatment of profit? Profits are always added to. Profits are always added to. Yes, very good. Everyone is giving me correct answer. Yes, profits are always added to capital. So first of all, we will be add this profit in capital. You can see 75,000 plus 4,000. Now we have sold goods. So I told you earlier also that whenever we will be selling goods, it will be affecting our stock. So stock will increase or decrease by the sale of goods. Yes, one Shukla, very good. It will decrease. Very good. So we will be deducting 12,000 for from stock. Now you have to see whether the transaction is on cash or credit. Yes, transaction is cash on credit. Tell me, transaction is on cash or credit? It's on cash. So it will be increasing the cash. By what amount the cash is increased? In how much, in how many rupees we have sent the good, sell the goods? Yes, 16,000. So we are here going to add 16,000 in cash, deduct 12,000 from stock, furniture, no change, bank balance, no change, creditors 25,000, outstanding expenses 1,000. I told you earlier that you have to make a separate column for it. So outstanding expenses 1,000 and capital 79,000. So check whether both sides are equal or not. Please check it fast. 72,000 plus 30,000, 33,000 plus 25,000 plus 1,000 plus 79,000. Tell me the total of both sides. Is it equal or not? Yes, students, I'm waiting for your answer. 72 plus 33, 1 lakh, 1,05,000 it's 1,05,000. Yes, in both sides. 25 plus 1 plus 79, 1,05,000. Yes. Next, we have returned goods to creditors costing rupees 1,000. We have returned goods to creditors costing rupees 1,000. So whenever we are going to return the goods, then definitely it will be decreasing our stock. So purchase returns will decrease our stock and sales return will increase our stock. So both are decreased. Very good, Vansh. Which both accounts will be decreased? Tell me. Stock and creditor. Very good, Harshita. Stock and creditor. So from stock, we are going to decrease 1,000 and from creditors too, we need to decrease 1,000. Rest other accounts will remain unaffected. So we have to write 0 over there. Okay. So in this equation, now we can have again the new equation. Cash 72,000. Goods now we are having 32,000. Then furniture 0, bank balance 0, then creditors 24,000. Here 26 is written, but I told you that creditors are of 25. So now we will be having 24,000 creditors, 1,000 outstanding expense, no change. Capital 79,000, no change. Next, I am going back to the question. Next transaction, transaction 7. Yes, bought furniture for cash, 2,000. Bought furniture for cash 2,000 and on credit 3,000. So tell me which 2 or 3 accounts are going to affect with this transaction. Furniture for cash and credit. Yes. Furniture, cash and creditors. Very good. Furniture, cash and creditors. Now tell me, furniture is an asset. So we are going to write furniture by what amount? Furniture we have purchased of what amount? 2,000 cash and 3,000 credit. Yes, everyone is giving me correct answer. Total furniture we have purchased for 5,000. How much cash is going out? How much cash is going out? Yes, very good. 2,000. So 2,000 will be deducted from cash. And how much creditors we have created in this transaction? Yes. How much creditors we have created in this transaction? 3,000. So what is the effect on accounting equation? Cash will be decreased by 2,000. Furniture will be increased by 5,000 and creditors will be increased by 3,000. So like this. Okay, students. So now again we have to make a new equation. 72,000 minus 2, which is equal to 70. 32,000, no change, will remain same 32. Furniture now we are having of rupees 5,000, no effect on bank balance. Creditors now we are having of 27,000. Earlier we were having 24 plus 3, 27. Outstanding expenses 1,000 and capital no effect 79,000. Okay, no effect 79,000. So now I am going to tell you 2 important things which we have not discussed till now. So you can write in your notebooks rule as well as the term. So one concept is interest on capital and the other concept is interest on drawing. Both are very much important concept. As I told you earlier that businessman and business are having separate identities. And whenever we are writing transactions in the books of account, then that transactions are recorded from business point of view, not the businessman point of view. Okay, like if the businessman is investing funds in the business, then definitely it is decreasing the cash of the businessman, but here in business we are increasing the cash. Why? Because we are recording the transaction with the point of view of business, that how the transaction is affecting the business, not the businessman. So whenever a businessman invest money in his business, so then business, along with the profit, business also gives him interest on capital. Because if that amount he is not going to invest in the business, then that much interest he can get from the bank also. He can just keep his money in the bank, and in return he can get the interest. So the profit whatever he is getting after investing the amount in business, that profit is not the returns of capital. That profit is the return of his hard efforts. Profit is the return of risk, whatever the risk he has taken by investing his money in the business. So profit is the result or the return of his efforts. Definitely he is going to have that profit. But what is the return of the capital? That is the interest. So business is supposed to pay an interest to the businessman. So whenever this transaction is there in the question, charge interest on capital at the rate of, always the rate of interest will be given in the question. So you have to go back in the first transaction to check that interest is always provided on the opening capital. Opening capital means the capital which is invested in the business. So in this transaction, you can see that he has started business with 80,000. So what amount he has invested in the business? 80,000. And this 80,000 is his capital. So whenever interest on capital is given, first point to be noted, you have to calculate it on the capital given in the beginning. Okay. So what is the capital given here? 80,000. So 10% of the 80,000 will be, what will be 10% of the 80,000? Yes, students, what will be the 10% of 80,000? Yes, 8,000. Very good. 8,000. So that is the interest on capital which the business is supposed to pay to businessman. Okay. So whenever interest on capital will be there, what will be the treatment? Write down. Treatment of interest on capital. Write down. Treatment of interest on capital. So it will be added in the capital. It will be added in the capital. Why? Because this interest will be paid to the businessman. So businessman, who is representing businessman here? Capital. So interest on capital will be added in the capital. Secondly, it is an expense for the business. So if it is an expense for the business, so it will be deducted from the capital. So what is the treatment? Once it will be added in the capital, then other time it will be deducted from the capital. Now, one question may be coming in your mind, why we have not deducted from cash? Yes, it is not mentioned in the question that the businessman has taken out that interest on capital. If the businessman is taking out that interest of capital from business, withdrawing that amount, then definitely cash will be affected. Then we will be deducting it from cash, but not now, because it is written in the question that you have to just charge interest on capital. It is never mentioned in the question that the businessman has withdrawn the interest on capital. If it is there that businessman has withdrawn the interest on capital, then first you will be doing two transactions simultaneously. First it will be added in the capital or subtracted from the capital. Then it will be, or what you can see, deduct from the capital or deduct from cash if it is withdrawn. If it is not withdrawn, question is silent, then you will assume that it is not withdrawn. Then it will be added in the capital, and then on the other hand side it will be subtracted from the capital. And always interest on capital will be calculated on opening capital only, the capital with which we have started the business. So you can see here this transaction, this is a new concept which I have introduced today. So 8,000 is added in the capital and the same amount is deducted from the capital. I am explaining the reason again why it is added, because when the businessman will be added, will be getting interest from business, then his capital will be increased. So that's why we have added. And when the business will be paying this interest to the businessman, then it is an expense for the business. So that's why it is subtracted. Income for the businessman and expense for the business. So once it is added and once it is deducted, every time same treatment will be there. Next transaction. So again we have to find out the new equation. Interest on drawing we will be talk in later on. when it will come in question. So 70,000, 32,000, furniture 5,000, bank balance 0, then the creditors 27,000, outstanding expenses 1,000, and the capital 79,000. Okay, students, do the totaling of both sides fast. I am waiting for your answer. Do the totaling of both sides and please check whether the answer is both sides are equal or not. Yes. Do the totaling of both sides and please check whether the both sides are equal or not. Yes, students. Tell me. Yes, students, tell me whether both sides are equal or not. Yes, equal. 1,07,000 equal. Very good, students. Now we have just come on the last transaction. That is the cash deposited into bank 50,000. Now tell me which two accounts will be affected? Cash deposited into bank. Yes, cash and bank. Definitely these two accounts are going to affect. Then tell me which is going to increase and which is going to decrease. Yes, we have deposited our cash in our bank account. So bank account will be increased and cash account will be decreased. Very good. So how we are going to treat it? In bank, 50,000 will be added and from cash, 50,000 will be deducted. Okay, cash is going to decrease by 50,000 and bank balance is going to increase by 50,000, leaving no effect on any other account. So in all other account, we are going to write 0. So 70 minus 50, which is equal to 20. 32 minus 0, same. Again, same. Then bank balance, earlier we were having 0. Now we are having 50,000. 27,000 creditors, 1,000 outstanding expense, and 79,000 liability. Now just fast check out whether both the sides are equal or not. Fast. Then I will be talking about the balance sheet. How to prepare the balance sheet. Yes, students, check fast whether the both transactions are equal or not. Yes, yes. Tell me the total of both sides. Tell me total of both sides. Yes, 1 lakh. Okay, some students are writing 1,20,000, some are writing 1,07,000. Who is correct? 1,07,000. It's not 120. Now, I have told you two things today, new things. First is the outstanding expense, and the other one is the interest on capital. Some concepts are left till now. As the concepts will be coming in question, I will be making you clear simultaneously. Okay. So now the new concept for today's outstanding expense, what treatment I told you that outstanding expenses will be written in the liability side. We will be having a separate column. Then we are going to deduct it from capital. For interest on capital, I told you that deduct from the capital and add back to the capital, leaving no effect on the accounting equation. Now come to the balance sheet. After making this accounting equation, in question it can come that you have to show this in balance sheet. So what is balance sheet? Balance sheet is a statement of businessman which tells the businessman about its financial position. At the year end, normally it is prepared. In balance sheet, all the assets, all the liabilities and the capital will be shown. And this is the format of balance sheet. Whenever you people are going to balance sheet, making balance sheet, then the same format you have to follow. Just note down the format in your notebook. First of all, you are going to write the balance sheet of name of the business or the proprietor. Name of the business is given, then you have to write the name of business like ABC Limited. And if name of business is not given, then you have to write the name of proprietor. So balance sheet of Amit as at means the date on which you are making the balance sheet. Normally in business, the balance sheet is prepared at the end of the year. Year end may be on 31st December, as I told you earlier, or it may be on 31st March. So along with the month, you have to also write the year. Like suppose this year, we have to make the balance sheet. So we will be writing 31st March 2020. Now this balance sheet, you can see that two sides are there. One is the left hand side and other one is the right hand side. In left hand side, you are going to write all the liabilities, internal liability and external liability. Internal liability is capital and external liability, the liabilities which you have made column in the above question. Then you have to write all the assets. Okay, beta, I will send the PDF in group. Then you have to write all the assets. Which assets? In accounting equation, whatever the assets are there, so all the individual assets you have to write. Which assets? The last, go back to the last accounting equation, last new equation. Ninth, cash deposited into bank, and after that we are having new equation in which cash is 20,000. So we have to arrange all the assets on the right hand side and on the liabilities on the left hand side. Okay, cash in the last equation we are having 20,000. So we have to write like this: cash 20,000, stock 32,000, but make sure that the balance sheet is prepared only with the last equation. Okay, this is the final result, that at last you are having this much, your position is this. And then furniture you are having of 5,000. Then bank balance you are having 50,000. Now you can add up all these. The total of all the asset is 1,07,000. Similarly, go back to the liability side. In creditors you are having 27,000. You have to write 27 because outstanding expenses you will be writing separately. Yes, yes, we have to write outstanding expenses separately. In this balance sheet it is not given, but you have to write. So creditors we are having 27,000. Then the second liability is outstanding expenses 1,000, and capital 79,000. Again the total of balance sheet is 1,07,000. Whenever you people will be making balance sheet, then always total of both side will remain same. So students, today in group I'll be sending one question. So you have to solve at your home. That will be your homework for today. And tomorrow we will be discussing that question too. Okay, so I'll be sending this PDF in group. So you can read the questions or you can do the practice.